This is Raymond with Vaping 360, hanging out at LA Vapers Club for another edition of Vapor on the Street. Today I'm going to ask a really simple question. I'm going to ask a bunch of vapers how they got started vaping. Let's check it out.
One day I went into a 7-Eleven actually to buy my normal cigarettes. I was down to about a pack and a half a day, and they had this little like sandwich board sign on the counter with Exhale O2, kind of an obscure brand even at the time. I'm not sure they're still around.
About 3 or 4 years ago, a friend of mine bought a vape pen, I think an E-Go twist. And I used to smoke cigarettes, and then after that, at first vaping was pretty foreign to me. But then after, with more newer technology, better equipment, I started to only vape. And so I haven't touched cigarettes in over a year.
It was about 3 years ago. I actually was diagnosed with high blood pressure, and the first thing the doctor told me was I needed to lose weight. And then obviously they asked also, do you smoke? And I was like, yeah, I do smoke. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna give up smoking.
I ran into some people that were friends of mine. We were at a meeting of a club, and they were outside during the time when we would have normally smoked, and they were vaping, and I was like really intrigued by the fact that they were vaping and what they were doing, and I started asking a bazillion questions like we all do when we first start to try and learn how to vape. And they gave me a sample, gave me an opportunity to try it.
I was going through a breakup, and a long-time friend had started vaping. I ended up going to his house for about a week, and he handed me an e-cigarette and was like, dude, check this out. And I thought it was interesting, but I was still a very avid smoker. And he said, dude, just check it out, see what you think. And
well, I work at a doctor's office, and a vape shop happened to open next door to my work, Aqua Vape in Temple City. And so I had no idea what vaping was. So my coworker and I went in, introduced ourselves, and the owner had introduced us to all their products. And so my coworker and I, both smoked. And so we thought, okay, we'll give it a try.
I actually was introduced to vaping by Josh Crane. I was working for a web development company that was redoing the website for a company called E-Cig. It was a Cig-alike. And the owner of the company told us at the web development company I was working for that anybody that's a smoker that wanted to get off of cigarettes and would not smoke while vaping, I said sure.
So I thought, well, even if this doesn't work, I got nothing to lose, $20, but it worked.
I started looking at them, but I didn't really get into it. And then the following year, I started looking at them more. And then I think it was in like June, I believe, which I was like, okay, let me buy one, let me try it. So I started actually with the E-Cigs, and I just ordered it offline. That didn't do it for me. The flavor was terrible. I was still smoking, but I was using that, but very, very little.
So I went online to try to see if I could get them cheaper, and I found, the ECF, Electronic Cigarette Forum. And then I realized there were all kinds of vaping products out there that people were making. And I bought a Pro Vape 1, and then I bought a Pro Vary, and I was off and running.
The next day I went and bought a blue Cig-alike. After buying the Cig-alike, I realized the flavor wasn't something that I enjoyed from the blue at all whatsoever. It tasted nasty to me. But I realized that was an opportunity to do something that was different and that it had merit to it. And 2 days later, I was in E-Cig City buying an E-Go-C twist and 3 E-Vods and 2 30ml bottles of juice, and started vaping. And that was on April 14th of 2013, and I haven't smoked since.
So maybe a week later, we bought our first setup, which was the E-Go twist, and started vaping. And I noticed I did cut down smoking a lot, but I still did smoke.
I didn't really feel like it was really doing what I really wanted it to do, so I continued to smoke, and I'd smoked for over 30 years, but that was my introduction. And then through that, we started going on my tours of all these vape shops, and I started finding new stuff in like 2013. I was introduced to Five Ponds and Black Label out of the Savior Vape House. So it saved my life.
I still smoked. I smoked for 2-3 weeks. Vaped a little, smoked a little, vaped a little, smoked a little, and one day I just woke up and picked up my e-cigarette because I didn't want to go outside to smoke, and that was it. Like, that's just how it stopped. It just happened. I had no real desire to quit. It just happened, and haven't looked back since, and it's been a little over 3.5 years now.
But I was still smoking. But that took probably about 2 weeks, I think. And then I eventually switched over completely. And got egos. And that's basically it. But yeah, my main reason for quitting was just to get help, just to be healthier, really.
Although I'll tell you, after that first puff from the Exhale O2, which was horrible, I haven't had a cigarette. I made it work.
I was able to quit smoking, and that's probably the most important part of vaping for me. It's not about blowing big clouds, it's about tobacco harm reduction, and helping people to understand that vaping is a great way to, help to, get tobacco and carcinogens out of your life.
That's it for this edition of Vapor on the Street. For more episodes and the best vaping reviews, guides, and features, go to Vaping 360, the home of vaping.